Angie is fleeing through the Cambodian woods when she is shot in the stomach, causing her to fall. Suddenly, a robot appears behind her and begins to kill her. Major Green of the CIA watches from a distance on a screen, directing the robot to accelerate. It all began 48 hours ago. More than 200 companies are creating extremely sophisticated robots and vying for the finest military contracts, while the entire globe is at war. Bowler picks up 3 programmers at an airport in Cambodia. He won't respond to any of their inquiries and threatens to shoot them. They're brought to a dreadful apartment to set up their gear, but Jance is taken away to establish a drop point link, leaving only Fielding and Kroger alone. After Bowler tells Green of this, he takes off for the Golden Triangle in a jet carrying 4 BR robots. Angie and 5 other doctors on a humanitarian mission encounter a spiked trap in the bush that damages their vehicle, forcing them to find the town on foot. Bowler arrives nearby as well as Jance, and Bowler shows Jance around cautiously since he can detect explosives concealed amid the plants. Additionally, they must remain hidden if a patrol passes by. When they finally locate the ideal location, Jance promptly sets up the communication apparatus. Bowler also posts something he simply refers to as a backup plan. When everything is operational, Green is able to access the cameras, and his supervisor Foster alerts Kroger to the possibility that the CIA may be engaged in a change in objective. He is startled to learn this and asks Jance about it, but Bowler cuts him off abruptly. The physicians approach them without seeing them, so they continue on until they hear an odd noise. Fortunately, it's simply a group of children acting out a battle. After that, the plane finally drops the robots in the bush, and Jance and Bowler head back to the apartment. Robot BR4's parachute malfunctions, causing them to lose signal right away. BR3's communication module is having some problems, which makes it risky because if they lose the communication, they will no longer be able to control the robot, and its sophisticated AI will allow it to attack anyone. The physicians arrive in a village where they encounter Kayala and Mason as the robots begin to leave. The entrance of the local smugglers cuts short their chat as they violently push Mason and strike Jordan. The smugglers threaten to kill the physicians if they don't leave, disregarding the fact that they are volunteers. Bowler makes the programmers change the programming with the new mission objective, which will take some time, while the robots arrive at the setup that Jance left earlier. They also see that, despite its improper response, BR4 is still operational. Returning to the physicians, they will pass the night in Kayala's village under the observation of the smugglers, who have promised to depart early the following day. Mason's tattoo alerts Jordan to the fact that he was formerly a Navy SEAL, and he is called out for not doing more to stop the smugglers. This nearly leads to a brawl until the others break it up. After finishing the code update the following morning, the tech team is concerned because it didn't appear to be a simple simulation as they had been told. The robots are arming themselves and beginning to move on their own thanks to this new coding. When the local children discover a fallen parachute while playing in the jungle, they discover BR4 below. Leap, Kayala's son, steals its module, causing the robot to move. The children flee in terror right away. After BR4 examines its own system and finds that its module is missing, it looks through its video and starts looking for Leap. The smugglers are attempting to drive the doctors out of the village. Lep stops them to show his father, and the smuggling leader Prack the module, but he is not taken seriously. Green wants the robots to assault the smugglers when they suddenly materialize outside the town. Bowler threatens to kill them unless they activate the instructions, which first causes the tech team to refuse because there are civilians. The smugglers attempt to defend themselves against the robots' rapid opening fire on the town, but their guns are ineffective against the robots' formidable armor, and soon they are scattered across the area. Mason goes to save Leap after one of the children is shot in the head, leaving him in the shack with Kayala and the medics while he hides with Prack to decide on a plan. In an attempt to defend himself, another child lunges for the fallen smuggler's firearm, but Fielding snags it before it can fire. Although she opposes killing civilians, Bowler contends that since they are all witnesses, they should also be killed. Jance tries to object as well, but Bowler aims a revolver at him. Kroger then fires up the robot again, shooting the youngster in the process. Subsequently, the robots traverse the village, eliminating any smugglers that remain and even firing inside of shacks. Prack and Mason stealthily make their way into Kayala's cabin. Leap wants to stay with Kayala, but Mason stops Prack when he tries to leave with just the boy. Following a tense time, Prack leaves, and the group hears an odd sounds coming from outside, the wailing of a wounded lady over her dead kid. The doctors are trying to save her, but the robot arrives first and ends her life. At that point, the robot starts shooting after detecting the group's presence within the shack. Mason gives the group a place to hide as soon as they take off, then he dashes back to divert the robot's attention. Mason clearly isn't a smuggler, so the tech team freezes the robot when he appears on camera. Mason notices this and informs the others it's okay to leave, but all of their faces are now captured on video. Upon discovering that Mason was once a SEAL, Green gives the tech team the order to kill them all and leave no trace. When the robot activates once more, Prak returns and fires at it to divert its attention, allowing Keala and Leap to escape as well. Mason and the others continue running and manage to save a few children, but as soon as they reach into the jungle, the group disperses, leaving the youngsters vulnerable to gunfire. A little while later, BR4 shows up at Keala's cabin in search of information regarding Leap. When a local tries to stop it, the robot quickly dispatches him. After then, it makes extensive use of a tablet to browse the internet and learn a great deal about people. It appears that AI is gradually developing self-awareness. The man's heart and brain are removed, but it is unable to comprehend them. It then tries on the man's face, but it throws it away fast and leaves to follow Leap's footsteps. The opening sequence is repeated in the jungle. Angie is running when she gets shot and falls. After BR2 scans her passport, Green and the tech team are aware that the runners are merely volunteer doctors. But BR2 continues to kick Angie in the head. Keala is jogging behind Mason in the meantime, and a stray bullet wounds Mason's hand. They discover Jordan, Dez, and Tien, 3 of the physicians, while attempting to conceal. Mason receives first aid for his hand from the physicians as they make plans to spend the night hidden in a cave. Later on in the evening, while Dr. Bao is hurtling through the bush by alone, he unexpectedly slips and falls, hurting his leg. Jordan tries to go aid him, but Mason stops him before he can reveal their location. He yells out in pain, and his group hears him. Bao keeps dragging his leg to get away, but he is unable to move very quickly. As a result, BR2 soon locates him and murders him. Abruptly, the tech team tries to get in touch with them after realizing that BR4 is breaking into their system. BR4 is currently uploading by itself because the 3 of them cannot access its files to halt it. Green gives them the command to stop working with BR4, but RB4 simply blocks the team's attempts to activate the self-destruction code. They also think of setting off Bowler's backup bomb, but they are unable to do so as doing so would destroy Jance's setup and cut off their communication with the other robots. Bowler goes crazy at the possible repercussions and disconnects all of the robot's connections while disconnecting the power in the apartment in an attempt to stop the hack. Now that robots 1 through 3 are frozen, BR4's AI is unconstrained since it keeps searching for Leap. After the tech team restarts the computers, they devise a new strategy. BR1 will pursue Mason's squad, while BR2 and BR3 are assigned to halt BR4. Mason emerges from the cave the following morning and discovers Bao's body. Additionally, he notices BR2, so he carefully excavates a mine and launches it as far as he can. Mason gathers the crew and leads them to the smuggling plant as BR2 pursues the explosion. Just then, they hear gunfire coming from the jungle. When Leap, Prak, and Wendy, the final doctor, show up fleeing the fire, both groups eventually come together. Everyone flees to a shack to shelter when BR1 appears and starts shooting while Prak discovers his hidden weapon pit. Unfortunately, Tien's knee is injured by a stray bullet. Mason uses a hammer to hit the robot's head, causing it to miss the shot and just injure Dez's ear while BR1 suddenly reaches through the shack wall and snatches Dez out. Mason then flees, allowing the robot to chase him, while the others retrieve Dez and bring him back inside the hut. BR1 continues to move forward, finds Prak, and uses a shot to take him out. Green and the team watch as a furious Leap emerges from hiding to reveal to the robot that he has the module. Keala rushes to Leap's defense, but Prak leaps in and is killed before BR1 can shoot them. Mason then emerges to engage the robot in combat, but he is easily defeated. Jordan quickly follows him with a weapon he discovered in the shack, but he trips and loses it. Jordan flees into the cabin to hide while Mason returns to the fray to divert BR1. Mason then dashes to the weapon pit and plants a landmine. Mason fires the mine at BR1 as it gets close enough, setting off an explosion that damages his leg. Mason rushes to begin abusing the robot, which is down but still functional. Bowler forces the group to enter the self-destruction mode, but fortunately Mason recognizes the danger and flees before it blows up. Leap sobs for Prak back in the shack, and Keala admits she's been hurt really bad. When Mason returns and screams out for assistance, Wendy and Tien attempt to save her. The gang departs after everyone has been fixed up, not realizing that the tech crew is now keeping an eye on the module. In the interim, BR3 eventually locates and assaults BR4. But BR4 has a ton of new skills that it has obtained from the internet that BR3 is ill-equipped to handle. Thus, in a matter of minutes, BR4 overwhelms 3. Foster tells BR4 not to self-destruct because he wants to preserve BR4's sophisticated brain, despite Bowler's wishes for them to. Subsequently, BR4 utilizes 3 to regain access to the team's computers and expresses gratitude before initiating its own upload. Because of how serious this is, Bowler and Green choose to disobey Foster's instructions and instruct the group to initiate BR3's self-destruction. However, BR4 blocks them and takes out BR3's module, putting it in its own head so that it may continue uploading. Bowler concludes he must walk into the forest and deal with BR4 on his own, but Kroger provides a different solution, a new module that uses sophisticated strategies to reactivate BR3. Fielding is outside calling her husband, and Bowler notices this while they are talking over the specifics. Fielding begins running as he pursues her and demands her phone. After a protracted chase, she smashes Bowler with a pipe to continue after coming to a standstill. Regretfully, she stumbles and injures her ankle, which makes it possible for Bowler to pursue her and murder her with a knife. Her husband hears all of this through her phone, which Bowler locates and tracks down. Then, feigning ignorance of Fielding's whereabouts, Bowler returns to the flat and orders Kroger and Jance to leave as they have been compromised. Bowler burns up the flat after they depart. Fielding's husband is murdered in his own house in the United States by an assassin Bowler dispatched. Mason's gang returns to the forest and scales some boulders to increase their distance from the robots. The injured are pulled up and all the healthy individuals climb up, but they're taking up so much time that the tech team moves their computers to a new place and turns on the robots once more. Jordan is the only one still on the ground when BR2 eventually locates the group. He starts to flee and hides among the rocks after a few missed bullets. He thinks of self-deleting as BR2 gets closer, but the group calls his name and diverts the robot's attention. Jordan is able to safely flee and rejoin the group as a result. Sadly, BR2 climbs after him, so they have tossed it a rock to make it tumble. Bowler departs with the new module in the interim, but not before making sure to threaten the families of Kroger and Jance to discourage them from trying anything. Bowler soon reaches the forest, inserts the module along with an explosive pack into BR3, and watches as it bolts, demonstrating that it can now speak. Mason's crew is still exploring the cave in the meantime, although they had to stop for a rest after a long day of trekking. As the physicians are learning that Dez is deaf, they hear a disturbance and become alarmed, but it turns out to be merely a blind man who is unaware of reality. Mason then leads the group deep into the cave so they can sleep soundly. The physicians begin treating Keala's wound the following morning after seeing she isn't responsive and that she is bleeding internally. Jordan and Mason leave the cave to keep a watch on BR2 as it appears at that same moment. Mason is unfortunately harmed as BR2 starts after him after hearing him. Jordan creates a sound to divert Mason's robot's attention. Keala keeps the group from moving, so Jordan tries in vain to fire BR2. Mason reappears out of nowhere and tosses a boulder at BR2 to make it follow him. However, as BR2 runs, it tumbles into a rock pit and becomes stuck. After treating Keala, the doctors exit the cave by circumnavigating the robot, but Jordan grows weary of it and shoots it. Bowler is chasing BR3, who walks on a mine but continues unscathed, not far from there. Finally, BR2 is able to liberate itself in the cave. When the gang arrives at some ancient ruins a short while later, Keala passes away in Mason's arms. They begin to flee until BR2 discovers them again while they are at the temple grieving for her. Jordan and Mason remain in the location to divert the robot's attention while Leap guides Dez, Wendy, and Tien out. After trying to shoot a few times without success, they decide to sneak around and make their way into the jungle to meet up with the others. Mason throws the module away after realizing that BR2 must be monitoring it, which causes the robot to quickly turn the other way. After BR2 locates the module, the tech team modifies it to follow the tracks. It locates the gang rapidly, shots Wendy, and causes Dez to trip on a mine by accident. Mason leaps in to save Leap after the robot snatches him, breaking BR2's leg in the process. The tech crew needs to terminate the connection to stop BR4 from uploading after it appears out of nowhere and snatches BR2's head. Kroger warns Jance that their loved ones are in danger as BR4 tears off 2's head and persuades them to get back online, only to find BR2 dead. Leap tries to take Mason away in the forest, but BR4 stops them and inquires as to what it is. When the IT team is at a loss for words, BR4 takes up his original module and restarts the upload, causing them to disconnect the connection once more. Des says his final words to them before passing away in their arms, but not before the doctors learn he is still alive. Returning to BR4, it poses existential concerns to Mason and Leap regarding why certain lives are valuable during times of war while others are not. It is wondering if being able to learn indicates that it is alive when BR3 tackles it out of nowhere, starting a fierce robot fight. The doctors try to save Mason and Leap while the robots are beating each other up, but Bowler blocks them and shoots Jordan right away. Mason orders the others to flee as he engages Bowler in gun combat, but he must hide as the robots approach too closely. When Bowler tries to get close to him, Mason is there to intercept and toss a mine at him. Bowler's survival is shown as the two robots soon fall to the ground and struggle. Mason challenges him to battle him like a man, but BR4 grabs Bowler's leg and knocks him out before they can get into a knife fight. After the group returns from Mason, Green gives the crew the command to use the Three's self-destruction to murder everyone, but BR4 stops them. Then, it asks the group to flee, indicating that life is in fact important. When the group gets far enough, Bowler and BR3 are destroyed by BR4's self-destruction. Green phones Foster to voice his displeasure, but Foster views the test as a success and revokes the agreement with the CIA before releasing the tech team. But an enraged Green sets off a bomb Mason left behind, killing them both. The party successfully escapes the bush, but it also becomes clear that Bowler is still alive. It is revealed in the robot factory a short while later that BR4 has successfully completed its upload and is now present in the other robots. Monsters of Man, 2020, a sci-fi action film with mixed results. The premise: Monsters of Man takes viewers to Southeast Asia, where a ruthless arms manufacturer tests its deadly prototype robots on unsuspecting villagers. A group of American doctors on a humanitarian mission witness the massacre and become the robots' next target. A desperate fight for survival ensues, with the doctors facing off against these relentless machines. Action-packed but uneven. Fast-paced excitement, the film delivers non-stop action sequences, keeping viewers on the edge of their seats as the doctors outsmart and outrun the robots. Practical effects prowess. The use of practical effects for the robots adds a sense of realism and believability to the action scenes. Character development shortfall. The focus on action comes at the expense of character development. We don't get a deep dive into the motivations or backstories of the doctors. A critical look. Exploitative violence. The film's violence can be quite brutal, which might be off-putting to some viewers. Predictable narrative. The plot follows a familiar formula, with the doctors overcoming increasingly difficult challenges without many surprises. Social commentary on hold. The film hints at a potential critique of the arms industry, but this theme isn't fully explored. The moral of the story, if any: Monsters of Man prioritizes action thrills over philosophical depth. While it doesn't offer a profound message, it can be seen as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked military technology. All opinions in this summary are personal opinions. You can write a comment about your opinion. Thank you.